Very warm good afternoon to one and all present for the another episode of Nplugged Season 2. Today we have someone special with us from Raipur Toastmasters Club, Toastmasters Swamee. So before I introduce Toastmasters Swamee, I would like to tell something about Nplugged. So Nplugged is an initiative by Division N, District 98, where we talk about our members and their journey outside Toastmasters. It helps our members to feel empowered, and I hope we'll be hearing some nice stories from the tidbit life of Toastmaster Swamee. So Toastmaster Swamee, he's a philomath, a guest lecturer of Sanskrit, a philosopher, a critical thinker. Well, that's what he has told us, and we'll be interviewing him on his bio. So Toastmaster Swamee, I would like to start by asking you some basic questions that where are you from? Where have you been brought up? How has been your life till now?
Okay. Thank you, Toastmaster Sakshi, for giving me the opportunity. I was born in Prayagraj, Uttar Pradesh, and my family belongs to Bihar. And while I was 1 month old, my father was appointed in Raipur, Chhattisgarh. So you can say that I belong to Raipur now. And so far, my journey is like there are so many ups and downs, mostly down, and now I'm rising. Like when I was a young child, I used to fail a lot. So this was my journey so far, and I learned from my failures, and I become a guest lecturer in Sanskrit. But actually, I have left my job 15 days back, and now I'm pursuing my MBA because I want to work in a MNC.
All right, okay. So Toastmaster Swamee, while interacting with you earlier in this evening, you told me that failure is the greatest teacher. So what's the story behind that?
I think, well, Uday Adla said this, that failure is the greatest teacher, but I too believe that when you are failing, you can learn from it if you want to. As you said, I'm a philosopher and I'm a critical thinker. When I used to fail, I used to sit there and think that why did I fail? The obvious answer was that I didn't study hard enough or not good enough. Due to that, I failed. But what about that? Those subjects which I was good at, like maths, I was good at maths, but I didn't know how to write all these steps because everything was in my mind. So I started thinking it, I started realizing it, that my failures are because of lack of knowledge of how to write things. I recognized it, and then I started studying in a different stream, which was Sanskrit. I applied my theories in this particular subject, and I become a university topper, a college topper, a state topper, as well as I applied this in my psychology courses as well, and I got the outstanding award as well. So when you are failing, just ask yourself, why are you failing? It's not that you don't have the brains, you have it. You just have to realize what you are lacking, and you will be there.
All right, thank you, Toastmaster Swamee. So okay, so I read somewhere. Actually, I got to know it from you that first you pursued engineering, right? So the from choosing engineering at your basic degree course and then choosing Sanskrit, that those are actually two poles, right? So
Yeah.
where did that idea came from?
Okay. Well, it's a interesting story because while pursuing engineering, I had at least 8 backlogs. So I realized that I'm not doing very good. And my father, he told me that if you want to do business, because I was totally into business. So he told me that if you want, you can learn Sanskrit and you can open your own coaching. That way, you'll be the only one in the whole state of Chhattisgarh to be the one teacher who will be teaching Sanskrit. So I was totally impressed and convinced with this idea. So after my engineering, I started pursuing my master's in Sanskrit, and I become a gold medalist as well. So
Well, that must have been a that must have taken a lot of guts to actually change your complete subject from something that is so technical as engineering, revolving everything around mathematics and science and mechanics and all those kind of subject to something that is more philosophical and more literary like Sanskrit, right?
yeah, it was hard. So what I decided, my father told me that you have to put your heart and soul into it. Then only you will be able to understand Sanskrit. So what I did, I just shaved my head so that I won't be going out any soon. So I have to stay at home, and I used to learn from my father as he's a Sanskrit professor. So he used to taught me at about 3 o'clock in the morning, from 11 o'clock midnight to 3 at morning. He used to taught me, and I learned from him. So it was a difficult journey, but after 6 months, when I learned the language, I become used to it. So it was pretty much difficult, but then everything uh, followed up.
Okay, all right. So, you must have been coming across people as you have been a guest lecturer. You have visited, I guess, colleges in Bilaspur and Rajnandgaon. What I feel is that the crowd, the youth we have around us, is not very interested in learning, is not very keen to learn Sanskrit, but is very much interested to learn other foreign languages. Even after knowing the fact that learning Sanskrit can provide them better knowledge and better understanding about our own culture, as well as different scientific and other proofs about nature and our mythology and history. And still, people do not want to learn our languages. So, what is your take on this topic?
Yeah, when you say Sanskrit, that he's a Sanskrit professor or guest lecturer or lecturer, uh, first when we met, Sakshi, when we first met, when you came to know that I'm a Sanskrit professor, didn't you got somewhat, what? He's a Sanskrit professor. I mean, look at him. He doesn't have any tika or choti, and he's not wearing a kurta dhoti. I mean, this is what we think of Sanskrit. We don't uh, join the technicalities which is in Sanskrit. Actually, Sanskrit is a language. It's just a language in which a lot of technologies, a lot of economics, geographies, everything you can find in it, even mathematics. Pythagoras theorem is also there. When we make a mandap, we call it, where you take sat feras and all. It is, these mandaps are made upon the what we call today Pythagoras theorem. It is based on that, right? You have to do exact number of inclination, your uh, yeah, perpendicular base, and what it is called, I forgot it,
Right.
hypothesis. Yeah, height. Okay, so in that way you do it. And even nowadays we have aeroplanes. You can find this Viman Shastra, in which you can find that there are three different types of aeroplanes. One which is controlled by your voice command, one it is based on coding, like that, or one is manually controlled. So these all things are there in Sanskrit, but what we have served in our plates, that Sanskrit is just for chanting mantras, and that's it. It's totally spiritual, nothing else. So that's why people, young generations, they are not taking Sanskrit as their subject. And for that, what I did, when I was leaving my job 15 days back, I, I threw a party, in a 3-star hotel for about 60 students of mine, and I give them a lesson that, look, while attending this party, you guys are enjoying it. See, you are a Sanskrit student and you can also do it. What engineering students or commerce students or any else stream students can do, you can also do it. And if you are earning money, you can be here and everyone will accept it. So don't just sit at your homes or go to a place and chant mantras like that. Be, I think you have to be with the world. So try to do it. So it was my last teaching to my students.
Well, that's quite commendable of you to make them feel empowered and think about them in a different perspective. So, Swami, that I did go through a few things about you. I did my own research and I found that uh, you could not you did not receive a NDA's letter on time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ac-
and that
yeah.
must have been a good big bump in life. And still you are here. And then again, you said you are dropping out of your, you know, lecturership, and now you're moving towards MBA. That's another big step towards life, right?
Yeah.
So, what is your driving energy? What's your driving force? What do you? What's your mantra of going ahead in life and getting on with so many big failures?
Yeah. My biggest force is my family, actually. I think 7, 8 years back, I asked my father, while he was speaking with my cousin, that I'm proud of you. You are very good at studies. Well, he is actually. So I asked my father, do you feel proud of me? He said, why should I be proud of you? I was totally heartbroken. So then I decided that I'm going to study hard as much as I could. And no matter what, I will make you proud. So then only I got the gold medals and topped in the university. But still, I think that I'm not good enough to prove myself in front of my father. So I'm going with MBA as my brother is a senior manager in Amazon. So I think my father feels proud about him. So I think I have a bar now and I should cross this. Then only my father will acknowledge me and he will feel proud of me. So this is my driving force.
Well, family is of course a very important part of our lives. So, where do you think, in this whole journey of yours, where do you think exactly communication skills has paid any tribute? Does it, like, do you think it matters to have communication and leadership skills in your journey? Did it actually created a difference somewhere?
Well, if you talk about communication skills, it's a two-way process, speaking as well as listening. I think I haven't delivered any speeches, very good speeches yet. I think in front of my students, maybe someone would have listened and he may got inspired from my speech. But for me, I'm a good listener, I think. And as I told you about my father, what he told me that I'm not proud of you, it was the first thing. The second one, while pursuing my engineering when I was in sixth semester, I had this mentor. He was a personality development trainer. He was 28 years old and he was outstanding. He told me that, hey, Swami, why are you binding yourself with a lot of chains? I said, I didn't get you. What? He said, why are you not seeing the potential within you? I said, I still didn't get you. So I think I am working hard enough. He said, if you were, then you didn't have this much of backlogs with you. I said, okay. And then he started giving me a 2-minute speech, and I think it was a triggering point of my life, I guess, because then only I started studying in engineering. And when I was giving my 6th semester exam, I cleared almost 11 subjects in a single attempt. So in the 7th semester, when we first met, I told him, sir, I think I have found my potential, and thank you so much. And that day onwards, I didn't look back that what was going on and everything else, and I started focusing on my journey. And I think it was the breaking point for me, and now everything is changed.
All right. Well, that have been such a big move. Always a mentor can change your perspective from zero to a potential goal. So what okay, so now coming to an end, giving an end to this conversation, I would like to ask you, what is that one thing that you would like to give our audience today? What is this one message that you want to convey today?
Okay. Recently, I thought this line that who makes history? Is it the one who studies it? No. We all can study history, but we are not going to make one. If we are following the one who had made this history, are we going to make a history? No. If we want to make a history, we have to do what haven't been done, which haven't done in the history. Then only we are going to make a history. So this is my message to everyone. Do something different and you are a history.
Thank you, Toastmaster Swami. It was a nice chit chat session with you, and I hope we are having a very nice time. Thank you for accepting our session for Unplugged.